Taurus, the groundwork is already in place. Long before the first green shoot pushes through the earth, long before the harvest can be seen by anyone else, you were building quietly and steadily behind the scenes. What you created has already taken form in places beyond your sight, secured and strengthened in ways your spirit can already feel. And now, the message surrounding May 20 and 21, 2026 is simple. Loosen your grip for a moment. Something real and lasting is beginning to settle beneath your feet, and this shift is not late, uncertain, or temporary. What is meant to endure arrives when the builder finally allows themselves to rest. You did not arrive at this message by coincidence. Taurus energy does not drift aimlessly. It roots itself into what matters, into loyalty, substance, and what can truly last. Part of you already senses that something solid is turning in your favor, even while your practical mind is still trying to measure the outcome. You can feel it in the unusual heaviness inside you, in the way your normally steady spirit has been craving quiet, softness, and a deeper kind of peace. This is the threshold between labor and comfort. The hardest part has already been carried, and now your role is no longer to force the outcome, but to stay open while life settles into the structure you spent so long creating. You endured seasons that demanded silent strength. Beneath your calm exterior lived exhaustion no one fully saw. You carried responsibilities that should never have belonged entirely to you, and you continued offering stability even when your own foundation felt uncertain. You stayed loyal through moments where your value was overlooked. You continued planting seeds through dry seasons when nothing seemed ready to grow. Taurus, that unwavering faith was never invisible. Every quiet effort, every stone you placed with patience while others questioned your pace, was being witnessed. Your consistency mattered more than speed ever could. And now it is time to stop standing outside the life you built and finally begin living inside it. This next chapter does not ask you to push harder. It asks you to soften enough to receive. Not through weakness and not through surrendering your strength, but through allowing yourself to trust the season instead of forcing every flower to bloom by hand. What is coming toward you is tied to worth, not exhaustion. Your nervous system may still be adjusting to the unfamiliar feeling of not constantly bracing for impact because survival has trained you to stay guarded for too long. But you are no longer standing unprotected. The heaviness inside you is not failure or stagnation. It is grounding. It is life deepening your capacity to hold comfort, provision, and stability without fear of losing them. Around May 20 and 21, you may notice yourself craving more solitude, wanting to make your space feel calmer or more beautiful, or feeling a kind of fatigue that sleep alone cannot fully touch. That does not mean you are becoming lazy. It means something inside you is recalibrating. You are learning how to attract instead of chase. You are learning how to sit in your worth without constantly proving it through labor. What comes next asks you to think like the owner rather than the worker. So if you are here right now, do not dismiss the wave of relief that guided you toward this message. It found you for a reason. It reflects the work you have already done, even if the full reward has not yet fully arrived in visible form. Stay with me through the rest of this message, because this is not only about finances, it is about safety. It is about having your value restored in ways you can finally feel in your body, your home, and your everyday life after spending so much time in survival mode. Take a slow breath and let yourself feel the possibility of that for a moment. Taurus, your footing is becoming steady again. What once felt delayed, emotionally costly, or constantly just beyond your reach is beginning to move back toward you with weight, permanence, and quiet certainty. Around May 20 and 21st, 2026, something inside you may begin realizing that you are no longer standing on unstable ground. The shift may not arrive loudly at first. It may feel more like the earth beneath your feet finally settling after years of trying to balance yourself against uncertainty, pressure, and invisible exhaustion. And when that realization reaches somewhere deep inside your chest, even softly, like warmth returning to frozen hands, let yourself acknowledge it fully. Say to yourself, I am open to my harvest. Not as performance, not as wishful thinking, but as permission to finally receive after spending so much of your life surviving. Because behind the scenes, movement has already begun. Doors have been opening quietly, roots have been strengthening beneath the soil, and circumstances are slowly rearranging themselves in ways you cannot completely see yet. What is unfolding now reaches far beyond money alone. This is restoration, not temporary relief, but the slow return of value to the places within you that spent years running on depletion. You carried more than most people ever recognized. There were seasons where your loyalty, patience, and emotional endurance went unnoticed because you made strength look natural. Yet every chapter of your life was preparing you for this exact turning point. The moments you stood alone because you refused to settle, the times you protected your standards even when loneliness followed, the quiet refusal to build your life on unstable foundations. None of those choices were wasted. They became the framework that taught you how to create something capable of lasting. In the deeper language of your spirit, this season changes more than your circumstances. It changes the way you see yourself. What is arriving now becomes evidence that your perseverance was witnessed, even during the years when life felt painfully still. This is not simply about finally receiving compensation for your effort. It is about the outer world beginning to mirror what your soul already knew long before other people were capable of recognizing it. Your worth was never absent simply because it went unseen. While others measured success through speed, noise, or constant reinvention, your strength always lived inside consistency. You refused to force growth on unstable ground, even when shortcuts looked tempting. Taurus, this is not random luck arriving at your doorstep. This is accumulated reward. It is the kind of abundance that forms slowly, like deep roots spreading beneath a forest long before anyone notices how tall the trees have become. The effort you carried through difficult seasons was never wasted. Every delay strengthened something inside you that could not have been built through ease alone. What people once called stubbornness was often devotion wearing work clothes. While others rushed upward and collapsed beneath instability, your roots continued growing deeper underground, where nobody could applaud them. You were never building only for appearance. You were building for permanence. Now it feels as though some invisible ledger has quietly shifted in your favor. Not through revenge or repayment, but through recognition. You are not only being rewarded for hard work, you are being restored because you remain true to yourself in environments shaped by scarcity, pressure, and emotional fatigue. There is something sacred about continuing to nurture life during seasons when your own spirit felt dry. There is something powerful about continuing to offer steadiness while privately carrying exhaustion inside your own body. Those choices became more than habits. They became a kind of spiritual wealth gathered slowly over time, grain by grain, season by season. That is why what is arriving now feels steady rather than chaotic. It carries weight, it carries permanence. The life moving toward you cannot be thrown carelessly into unstable hands. It needs room to settle gently into the foundation you spent years preparing. This is also why rest matters so deeply now. For you, relaxation is not laziness, it is trust. It is the quiet understanding that what belongs to you no longer needs to be gripped with fear every second of the day. Even when your reality failed to reflect your effort, some part of you kept believing there would eventually be solid ground ahead. And now that future is no longer living only inside your imagination. It is becoming tangible, something you can hold, something you can finally live inside instead of endlessly chasing. Taurus, you are no longer being asked to prove your worth through exhaustion. You are being invited to prepare the table, because what arrives now is meant to be experienced, not fought for. This season brings evidence you can touch, feel, and build a life around. The energy surrounding May 20 and 21 feels less like survival and more like settlement, like finally placing heavy bags down after carrying them across miles of rough terrain. Your consistency mattered long before the world could measure its outcome. The loyalty you carried, the patience you protected, and the endurance that kept you moving through painful seasons were never invisible in the ways that truly mattered. You are not stepping into this chapter because you outran everyone else. You are stepping into it because you remained faithful to what held meaning, even when easier roads tempted you away from yourself. So loosen the tension in your body for a moment. Open your hands instead of keeping them clenched around fear. What belongs to you no longer requires constant defense. And after such a long stretch of emotional and spiritual labor, the next lesson may feel unfamiliar at first. You are being asked to rest inside the pause, instead of filling every silence with work or worry. For someone who has long associated productivity with safety, stillness can initially feel unsettling. But this is not the end of growth. It is the moment where you stop trying to earn your worth and begin living from it instead. You are not becoming smaller or less ambitious. You are simply learning how to enjoy what you have already created, without immediately searching for the next burden to carry. When life asks you to soften during this season, it is not taking away your security. It is confirming that security already exists. Ease is not carelessness. It is self-worth expressed through trust. It is understanding that what is truly meant for you does not disappear simply because you finally allow yourself to breathe. Your nervous system is learning this lesson too. For years, your thoughts operated like a constant accountant, measuring risk, preparing for disappointment, calculating how much energy survival might require. But now, your inner world is being asked to resemble a garden more than a battlefield. Worry kept your muscles tight for so long that peace may still feel unfamiliar at first. But unfamiliar does not mean unsafe. Protect your peace carefully, because it has become one of your greatest forms of wealth. Taurus experiences life deeply through the senses, and this is where healing becomes tangible for you. The warmth of nourishing food, soft fabric against your skin, evening light filling a quiet room, music drifting gently through the air, bare feet touching warm earth. These experiences reconnect you to stability in ways your spirit instinctively understands. The physical world speaks directly to your nervous system. Every time you care for your body or create beauty around yourself, you send a message inward that life is no longer only about enduring hardship. Like land resting before another harvest, part of your life is entering a quieter phase now, where unseen restoration continues beneath the surface. What appears still is still growing roots, and something lasting is continuing to take shape within you. Taurus, as the pressure of constant survival slowly begins loosening its grip, something much deeper starts moving beneath the surface of your life. Around May 20 and 21, 2026, this shift may not arrive with dramatic announcements or sudden breakthroughs. Instead, it may feel more like quiet renovation happening inside a house that has supported too much weight for too many years. The beams are still standing, but something inside them is finally being reinforced. The part of you that once held tightly to control out of fear is beginning to understand that life no longer has to be lived as though danger is always waiting around the corner. This transformation reaches far beyond money, success, or external comfort. It touches the way you understand value itself. For so long, some part of you believed your worth depended on what you could carry, fix, provide, or endure for other people. You learned how to become dependable even while exhausted. You learned how to stay steady even while your own needs sat quietly in the background like unopened letters collecting dust. But now a different awareness is beginning to settle into you, slowly and carefully, like rain sinking into dry ground after a long season without water. You are beginning to realize your value was never created by overextending yourself. It was already there long before you started proving it. Still, realizations like this do not settle into the body overnight. They move gradually through the nervous system, softening patterns built through years of pressure, emotional survival, and over-responsibility. Your body became accustomed to carrying tension the way trees learn to bend against years of wind. Holding everything together became second nature to you. And now, as ease begins entering spaces that once only knew strain, your system may not fully know how to trust it yet. That is why physical sensations may feel more noticeable during this period. Tightness gathering in the neck or shoulders, changes in appetite, sudden fatigue, the urge to clear clutter from your surroundings, or a growing need for silence may all reflect this internal reorganization. These are not necessarily signs that something is wrong. In many ways, they are signs that your body is learning how to exist in a calmer reality after spending years preparing for emotional storms that never fully passed. Peace can feel unfamiliar when exhaustion has been your normal for so long. This is also why rest may continue stirring guilt inside you. Part of your old conditioning still links slowing down with losing value. Somewhere deep inside, there may still be a voice that believes you must constantly produce, solve, or sacrifice in order to deserve stability. But Taurus, you are not becoming lazy. You are adapting to a different rhythm of living, one that does not require your nervous system to remain in survival mode every waking moment. The slower energy surrounding May 20 and 21 is teaching your body that softness is not weakness and stillness is not failure. At first, peace may feel almost too quiet. Like walking into a forest after years spent near highways and noise, your senses may need time to adjust. But slowly, your body begins recognizing the difference between emptiness and calm. You begin noticing how deeply you crave steadiness instead of urgency. The frantic pace that once felt necessary starts losing its grip on you, little by little. That is why reconnecting with the physical world matters so much right now. Nature reminds your nervous system of truths the mind often forgets. Walking among trees, tending a garden, sitting quietly outside while evening light settles across the ground, or simply placing your bare feet against the earth can help calm the invisible tension your body has carried for years. The natural world never rushes its cycles. Rivers do not apologize for moving slowly, and forests do not bloom overnight. Healing follows that same rhythm. Even the way you nourish yourself becomes part of this recalibration. Foods that feel grounding, warm, and comforting may suddenly matter more than they once did, almost as though your body is realizing it no longer has to brace itself against emotional drought. Small acts of care begin carrying deeper meaning now. A warm meal, clean sheets, soft lighting, quiet mornings, or a peaceful environment stop feeling indulgent and begin feeling necessary. Little by little, comfort becomes something your body allows itself to receive instead of something it instinctively resists. As this shift deepens, your tolerance for discomfort may begin fading too. Environments that drain you, relationships that feel sharp around the edges, or situations that constantly overstimulate your nervous system may become harder to endure. You may notice yourself pulling away from chaos more quickly than before. This is not you becoming difficult or overly sensitive. It is discernment replacing survival-based compromise. The version of you that accepted less simply to maintain stability is beginning to dissolve, like old bark peeling away from a tree that has outgrown it. That is also why pleasure carries real importance during this season. You are not only attracting abundance from outside yourself, you are learning how to embody it through the way you move through daily life. Beauty, softness, quality, slowness, and self-respect are becoming part of the structure you are building around yourself. Not as rewards earned through burnout, but as conditions your spirit genuinely needs in order to thrive. Like rings forming quietly inside a growing tree, your expansion is happening steadily from the center outward, almost invisible at times, yet deeply real. Allow this process to unfold naturally. This season still carries the feeling of land preparing before harvest, where unseen growth continues beneath the soil long before anything fully blooms above ground. Every time you honor your body, create more peace around yourself, or allow comfort without guilt, you make more space for stability to settle into your life. Taurus, you are moving beyond survival now. Something softer, steadier, and far more sustainable is beginning to take root inside you. And what is unfolding around you is not random luck. It is the gradual return of value poured into people and places that once failed to fully appreciate you. Loyalty that felt overlooked, effort that seemed invisible, and years that once felt emotionally draining are being weighed differently now. This is not revenge born from bitterness. It is restoration arriving in quieter ways. Every time you carried more than your share, repaired problems you did not create, or brought steadiness into someone else's chaos, those moments left an imprint. They mattered, even when nobody acknowledged them properly at the time. That is why this chapter feels so meaningful beneath the surface. You are no longer chasing recognition from people who could never fully see your worth in the first place. Instead, life itself is slowly teaching you what it feels like to finally stand inside your own value without needing to fight so hard to prove it. And that understanding continues unfolding with every quiet step forward. The balance is beginning to restore itself now. You no longer need to chase validation, keep emotional records, or carry resentment for everything that once drained you. What belongs to you is finding its way back through opportunities, stability, resources, and a peace that feels far more solid than temporary relief. Around May 20 and 21, 2026, this shift may begin settling into your life in ways you can actually feel. Sometimes the loyalty you gave to someone else's dream eventually returns as something fully your own. Sometimes the emotional safety you spent years creating for others becomes the home where your own nervous system can finally rest. And sometimes the patience you carried quietly through difficult seasons turns into recognition that no longer needs to be forced. Earth energy does not rush, Taurus, but it remembers every seed planted with care. Just because you could not immediately see results does not mean your efforts disappeared. Your roots were still growing beneath the surface long before anything visible appeared above the soil. What makes this season meaningful is that your rewards are not arriving because you became cold or hardened by disappointment. They are arriving because you stayed gentle in a world that often pushed you toward bitterness. And that softness protected your harvest through every difficult season. You are entering a phase where abundance can finally be held with dignity instead of desperation. What is returning now carries permanence, emotional safety, and long-term value. Taurus, this is the kind of justice your spirit has quietly waited for. As your life begins reorganizing itself around this new stability, the signs around you may start becoming more physical and undeniable. You may notice repeating numbers like 222, 444, or especially 888 appearing more often. Unexpected money, thriving plants, aligned opportunities, or a sudden urge to build something lasting may all feel strangely significant during this time. These moments are not simply coincidences or passing excitement. They are reminders that your foundation is beginning to take shape in the physical world. The security you have longed for is arriving because you have slowly become capable of holding it without fear. Around May 20 and 21, this may feel less like chasing abundance and more like finally recognizing that you are aligned with it. The resources entering your life are meant to create something lasting, whether that means a safer home, deeper peace, or more beauty woven into your everyday life. You may still feel cautious sometimes. Part of you may wonder if this stability can truly remain. But every difficult season taught you how to rebuild stronger than before. You were never simply suffering, Taurus. You were learning how to create structures strong enough to survive storms without collapsing. And when these blessings fully settle into your life, your instinct will not be reckless excess. You will want to protect what you have built, create comfort for the people you love, and shape a life that feels calm instead of uncertain. That is how you will recognize this abundance is real. So when the signs appear, allow yourself to receive them without overanalyzing every detail. Quietly remind yourself, I accept this value. Taurus, the moment you chose peace over approval, something inside your life began shifting permanently. The moment you stopped negotiating your worth just to keep others comfortable, a new reality quietly started opening beneath your feet. Around May 20 and 21st, 2026, that shift may begin feeling unmistakably tangible, not through chaos or pressure, but through a grounded sense of certainty that settles deep into your body. This season is not asking you to exhaust yourself further. It is asking you to gather what your years of patience already built. The abundance forming around you now grew slowly, like roots deepening beneath a strong tree through every difficult season you survived. Your role now is no longer endless labor. It is learning how to remain open enough to finally receive. What if life is no longer asking you to carry everything alone? The late nights, the sacrifices, and the quiet hope you protected through discouraging seasons were never forgotten. There may be moments now where it feels as though the earth itself is finally responding to everything you planted in silence. So loosen your grip for a moment. Let your body settle into the possibility that what belongs to you can arrive without struggle wrapped around it. You no longer need to minimize your comfort or explain your blessings to make other people comfortable. Around May 20 and 21, the deeper lesson may simply be allowing yourself to rest without guilt. You are stepping into ownership now, emotionally as much as materially. Let yourself experience stability without constantly preparing for loss. This is not temporary luck passing through your hands. This is harvest energy finally becoming visible after years of unseen growth. Everything you endured was shaping the foundation beneath you. Your strength was preparing you to hold something lasting. So ask yourself gently, what kind of life do you want to build from here? How will your peace create safety, beauty, and shelter for the people connected to you? Take a slow breath and ground yourself in this moment. If this message resonates deeply with you, comment below. I claim my abundance. I am secure. I am the builder. Let those words anchor this season more deeply into your spirit. And if this message speaks to you, like this video and stay connected for more guidance meant to support your peace, stability, and prosperity. Now place your hand over your heart and whisper softly, Lord, I am ready to receive the harvest. Teach me how to hold this abundance wisely and let my life become a place of peace and provision. Taurus, your roots were never growing in vain, and your season of blooming is finally beginning to reveal itself.